And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. Hope everybody is doing well. It is Tuesday, fam. Tuesdays in it. And my oh my oh my, it's been an eventful weekend. Eventful Monday. It's a very interesting Monday I had. Where I usually work, I went to cover a different store branch in a place that is in Windsor. I went to cover a branch in Windsor, so journeying there and back was an absolute nightmare. But to be fair, the day was actually quite nice. It was quite nice. It was very, very cold though, ridiculously cold. So that's also not so nice. But it was an adventure. It was an adventure of a day. But it's Tuesday nights. Had myself a little day off, and my oh my oh my, does it ever, does it ever pour in Manchester when it rains? And not quite literally. Supposedly it was snowing today in Manchester, but in the world of Manchester United, when it rains, it pours. And we're going to start straight off with this video talking about this Sir Jim Ratcliffe project. And in the title, I've labelled it that his project, is it already going up in smoke? And this this is in relation to some interesting news that's come out today regarding a potential or a favourite director of football candidate. And if you'd watched several streams back, I spoke about the structure that we could potentially have at Manchester United, that being Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Sir Dave Brailsford at the very top. You'll have then Jean-Claude Blanc in CEO position, with then Dan Ashworth and then Paul Mitchell as your technical director and director of football, both positions respectively. Initially, we said that we dealt the blow that Jean-Claude Blanc was not going to be. He was not going to be the CEO, and that is just more of an advisory position. But supposedly, the newly appointed CEO is going to have to report to Jean-Claude Blanc, which to me doesn't necessarily like. I don't know about this. I don't know about this because it's like an advisory role, but he's not an official. So how would Jean-Claude Blanc have an official position to have influence on the CEO of Manchester United? Technically, that's the highest position below ownership, and Jean-Claude Blanc's not an owner. He's a mouthpiece. He's a mouthpiece. So unless he is representing the Ineos aspect, and then again, that kind of you wonder what's Sir Dave Brailsford going to be doing, what's Sir Jim Ratcliffe going to be doing, if not Jean-Claude Blanc. So yeah, that was that problem. We had some news with Dan Ashworth saying that it's going to be a bit unlikely because can't say it won't happen, but it's going to be unlikely because it's going to be a very tall order to pry Dan Ashworth away from Newcastle United. But that's also the doors being kept open for that. But I'll tell you one door that was wide open, and it's being shut. It is absolutely being shut, in the process of being shut. And that's the door to Paul Mitchell, who has held talks with Roma about becoming their new director of football. It's a prestigious job. They've recently sacked Mourinho. I believe it was yesterday. They sacked him off the back of a bad result against AC Milan. And it's quite funny, actually, considering he wasn't even on the touchline. He was in the process of serving a touchline ban at that point, I believe. And still get sacked straight afterwards. So, yeah, Mourinho sacked. Totti goes in. That's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what Totti does with that Roma team. But yeah, outside of that, I'm a little bit frustrated by seeing this sort of news. A bit frustrated because it's like these are opportunities to really make a, uh, when I said that some things feel like it's too good to be true and that we don't trust anything until it actually happens, and how we cannot trust anything that's positive potential to actually be real until it happens. And this is a great example that Paul Mitchell, a lot of people wanted him. A lot of people in this club, in this fan base, they want him. They want him here. They do. Ineos, Sergeant Ratcliffe, yeah, we really like this guy. He's a favourite candidate. Fabrizio Romano said it. He's the favourite. He's a lead candidate for this, for that specific job, and the probable successor to John Murtagh. But this slimy bastard John Murtagh seems to be slowly but surely fighting against the insurmountable odds that he will be losing his job to somebody better, and it's slowly winding its way towards a direction where John Murtagh somehow, some way, keeps his job. God only knows why that would ever be the case. And I can't imagine. I mean, we've seen people talking about how overstaffed Manchester United are from Sir Dave Brailsford's POV. I'm thinking, well, if, fairs if that's your initial judgments, but I wouldn't be, so overly focused on that. I wouldn't be so overly focused on that. But then again, that might be the method to the madness. If you cut everything down, you have to open the opportunities to everybody. You guys are going to have to fight each other. You're going to have to fight each other to prove that you're better than everybody else in your lines of work, and then everybody else gets cut off the wage bills, and we go forwards with only the best in those departments. If we want to talk about fixing things like Manchester United, we need to think about streamlining the cuts of John Murtagh and co. Those people in power. Streamline the cuts, get them gone, get them out the door, ASAP, even before the deal's been ratified. Speak to the Glazers, speak to everybody that's currently there that has got power of influence. Say, we want Paul Mitchell in, and we want Dan Ashworth. Listen, Paul Mitchell can go in this particular role. We will sort out Dan Ashworth when we get there. But you guys can get Paul Mitchell in. Because Paul Mitchell, he'd love to be as part of Manchester United. The reports came out, it said, yeah, look, he's very, very keen. He's very excited by the prospect. But what if the tune has changed? What if it's not all rosy in the garden of John? I was about to say. What if it's not rosy in the garden of Paul Mitchell to Manchester United being the outcome here? What if Ineos have actually said, well, because Dan Ashworth's availability, we'll prioritise getting him first, as opposed to going for Paul Mitchell first? That might be dangerous, because Paul Mitchell, if he's given that sort of information, probably isn't going to hang around. He probably ain't going to hang around. He's probably going to be offered a Roma job and think, yeah, no, that looks really suitable for me. I'm gonna jump on there. I'm gonna jump on their project. And once that happens, God only knows he's ever gonna leave Roma to join Manchester United for anything. So I'm reading this, and it might not happen. It's quite possible it won't happen if the situation between Ineos, Paul Mitchell, Manchester United, that trifecta, is still locked in tight. But the fact that nothing's really happening at the moment, nothing's really moving towards actioning anything, I think is just typical Glazonomics again. That the people currently there have got a project that's coming in that they know is coming. It's like the storm you cannot avoid. You have to fly into it. You know what's going to come. Just get on with it and making those changes. Start them now. If you can do them now, start them now. But that's just it. That's Glazonomics for you. Why would we do anything like that? Why would we be proactive? Why would anybody care? Why would anybody care about doing what's best for Manchester United. They haven't done so for about best part of 18 years. They're not going to care. So, of course, they're not going to sign anybody. Of course, they're not going to, you know, move positions around. They're not going to change the hierarchy to fit the bill of Ineos. Of course, they're not going to do that. They're going to say, "Now that's your project, guys. You take care of it." But they can't take care of it right now because their deal's not completed, and it's not going to be completed until February. Roma are not talking to Paul Mitchell in February. They're talking to him now. They're talking to him now. And as of right now, Dan Ashworth at Newcastle, I mean, he might be like, well, yeah, it's possible. It's possible that I could jump ship to Manchester United's project. But then he gets to February time and he might be like, actually, we've got something good going on here. I want to focus on this project. So that's Sir Jim Ratcliffe's project. That's basically dealt a hammer blow with Jean-Claude Blanc. No Paul Mitchell, no Dan Ashworth. What structure is that? What is he going to do? What are Ineos going to do? Who are they going to get? Who are they going to get that's going to improve? I mean, are they going to try and lure Ralf Rangnick out of the Austria job? Are they going to lure him out and say, look, we're going to kickstart this with you? We tried to convince Paul to stick around and take the job once we're in, but he couldn't wait. He went to Roma, and Dan Ashworth just didn't want to leave Newcastle for love nor money. So we're having to, we believe that you'd be a suitable candidate after those plan A's. Will you take this job? I don't know if Ralf Rangnick would. I don't know if he would. So, yeah, the forecast is not looking too hot. It's not looking too hot for Manchester United and Sir Jim Ratcliffe's project. And I'm concerned because it's so symbolic of Glazers being Glazer-like, not acting now on behalf of a partnership that's about to kickstart its process at Manchester United. And already, they could do work to help Ineos here. They're choosing not to. They're opting not to. So that, to me, I don't know about you guys, but I think that already deals a crunching blow to the whole working partnership between the two groups of ownerships. I think that the working relationship's already taken a massive dent. And some people have got doubts over this partnership even working full stop. It could dissolve. It could dissolve and disintegrate very quickly. The Glazers just have to be Glazer. That's it. Just be like yourselves, Joel and Avram. Just be yourselves. Just be yourselves. And Sir Jim Ratcliffe will say, nah, this ain't working. And then what happens? I'll tell you what I hope happens. If it all goes to shit, I hope the Glazers go, you know what, fuck this, we're selling to Sheikh Jassim. We'll sell it to him. We'll sell it to him. He's the only one who's willing to bid more than anybody else for all the shares. So then you have to go through all of that process. Sir Jim Ratcliffe has to sell his shares, and Sheikh Jassim just waltzes in and turns Manchester United into a super powerhouse or something. Anyways, we'll have to see what happens with that, but it's not good reading. It's not good reading today. Speaking in other topics as well with players on the player front, we've got confirmation that Hannibal Mabry is gone, and as well as Alvaro Fernandez to Sevilla for Mabry and to Benfica for Fernandez. Supposedly Fernandez was going to be a sale. I think that's actually going to be a loan with then the buy clause, as well as the same thing with Mabry. And I think Mabry's deal was originally going to have a buyback clause should Sevilla make the transfer permanent. I think that clause was then taken out. But I think it does sit somewhere around the £20 million mark, somewhere like that. I think for Hannibal Mabry, for a transfer fee to buy the player after the loan. I don't know if 20 million is about right. I think it's 20 million euros as opposed to pounds. But two players that I think is just part of this project from Ineos to raise money. If you're looking for assets to sell, the ones that are hardest to sell, you can't put all of your eggs into that basket without the guarantee. And because there's no guarantee, you need to think, well, where can we get guaranteed money from? And these player sales or loans to sell are probably the only realistic way forwards for this for the club at the moment. Now, the thing is, it might get to the summer and Ineos actually find it ridiculously easy to move a lot of these players on. Maybe that is the case. We'll have to see the devil in the detail with that. But I think this is just another case of doing the easy work, and maybe in the long run it's necessary to do this. Maybe it is necessary. Maybe it does sort of give us just about that little bit extra money that gets us the extra player for that one position that we so desperately need. Which supposedly I think their priorities are something like a Harry Kane level striker. I think a number 8, a centre back, and a fullback. I think that's what the journos were talking about as far as interested player positions of interest as far as this summer is concerned, and perhaps the essence that we are essentially raising money to do that sort of a summer. I think it just depends on what actually happens with player sales, and I think putting the guaranteed monetary incomes first before worrying about the players that we are not sure about being able to sell. It's a damning indictment, but I think perhaps at this moment in time it's probably necessary. But yeah, we'll have to see what sort of monetary gain around this crop of players that we sort of loan to sell, and I suppose Jadon Sancho might be included in that as well. We'll have to see what happens, but that's in terms of players going out, and there is supposedly quite a few at the moment. Players coming in now, as we know, January transfer window, no chance of purchasing players. It's all got to be loan stuff. It's all got to be loan stuff, and that's predominantly going to be on the striking front. So the strikers, loaning in strikers is what the focus is. There is a player that we've been linked with that is not supposedly meant to be a striker loan, but as opposed to a summer target. That is, I think his name is Joshua Zirkzee. Former Bayern player, currently on loan at Torino, I think it is, or Genoa. I think it's Torino or Genoa. It's one of those two clubs that he is currently at. Joshua Zirkzee. So yeah, Dutch football. No, he's currently at Bologna. So completely different team. And I'm not too sure. I don't know about you guys. I'm not too sure. I feel like Joshua Zirkzee is like the Bayern's rendition of Eddie Nketiah. Now, do I think Xerxes better than Nketiah? I think so. But in terms of the level compared to other Bayern forwards, for me, I don't think he doesn't quite fit the bill as a player that is standout. Like, if I were to compare Xerxes to Højlund, I think there's no real. I don't think there's really any difference there. Maybe Højlund's got a better ceiling than Xerxes, but yeah, it's another player that I'm not too fussed about it. I don't know what everybody else thinks, whether you guys actually, have, because I'm not going to pretend to say that I've watched him a lot, because I've only really seen small clips and highlights of him, and some, a few good bits there, but nothing really hitting home for me. Um, Everybody else might think completely different and might know a lot more about this player than I do. But yeah, that's going to be a summer, a point of interest in the summer when it comes around to it. Um, it's another Dutch footballer as well, so I mean, Ten Hag is punching the air right now, but everybody else I think is a little bit. Is he really turning this into the Dutch national team? It feels like it sometimes. It really does feel like it, but yeah. Um, but yeah, let me know what you guys think about the Xerxes interest and what you think of the player. Another player that we're interested in, Benfica, youngster in midfield. I think it's João Neves. I think it is. Um, if I Yes, João Neves. Um, Currently 19 years of age, playing midfield for Benfica, and I think the next big thing to come out of Portuguese football. Supposedly Benfica have come out today and said that not they've not held any talks with anybody, but contrary to reports, apparently there are talks that have been going on. Benfica have said absolutely not. So I think whoever's telling porcupines, we'll have to see. I think again, it's another summer. It's another summer deal, and given the circumstance that is still not Ineos that is sanctioning anything right now, that is actioning anything, for me, I'm not really sat here right now going, oh my gosh, we're linked to so many fantastic players. Oh my God, I'm so excited. I'm not like that. I don't feel like this whatsoever. I'm absolutely seeing it for what it is. It's just more media links. And the thing is that they'll do this because it's a new dawn at Manchester United, guys. Oh, look at all of these players that Ineos are linking themselves to. Look at all the players that Ineos are planning on signing that they want to go and get. It's not real. At least not yet. Right now, it's not real. We've still got Murto Madness trying to figure out how to open a jar of pickles, let alone conduct efficient business in the transfer markets. I mean, Christ almighty, we've still not signed a lone striker. We've still not acted proactively in dealing with the Martial business. Once again, Martial's bullied the club into saying, you know what? The manager doesn't rate you anymore. He doesn't want you anymore. He's not going to pick you anymore. And Martial's saying, cool, I'll just kick back and relax and until the summer. I get paid to do it. And I don't have to do anything. And then I can go and sign for a new club in the summer. That's all cool with me. But that's at the detriment of the club. See, Ineos wouldn't tolerate that. They wouldn't tolerate that. They wouldn't tolerate it at all. And that player power, player FC, ruling the roost at Manchester United as always, but enabled ultimately by Mercer Madness and the incompetencies of the boards that we've had across the past 10 years. And nothing really changes off the back of this deal announcement and awaiting ratification. Nothing changes. We're hoping that there is change come the end of the takeover process once the ratification is completed, once the deal is done. We're hoping. But as of right now, there's still potential for some big damage to be caused. Damage to the incoming project. And it ain't even arrived yet. That's what's mental. It hasn't even arrived yet. It's just crazy stuff, man. Real crazy stuff. And I think people have got to wake up to this. That Glazeonomics is still absolutely rife in this club. So please keep your foot on this on the throat of this club. Keep your foot there. Keep applying pressure. Keep letting them know that nothing they're doing is acceptable. And don't change that tune until we see the actions happen. And there has been none thus far. And probably won't be until that deal is done. Until then, we're just reading media hype. And I believe it to be just that, media hype. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below regarding what we've discussed today about the Sergeant Ratcliffe project potentially going up in smoke already, about the outgoings, whether you think it's good business, whether you think it's business that could be better, whether you just don't like it whatsoever, but also what you make of the story links to players incoming as of right now, saying Ineos are going to sign all of these players. Well, Ineos are not here yet. The deal's in process, but it's not completed. They don't have influence and power. Not yet. So make of it what you will, guys. Let me know what your thoughts and feelings about those topics are in the comment section down below. Make sure that you do also like the video and subscribe if you haven't done so already. We are still one away from 150, so if we can get that, that would be fantastic. That would be marvelous, and big ups to anybody that does decide to be this channel's 150th subscriber and all of that good stuff. So big ups to everybody. Thank you very, very much for watching. I believe tomorrow night is the night, 8:30. The good, the bad, and the ugly will be featuring, will be debuting on the air. So make sure that you tune in 8:30 tomorrow night, and be ready. Be ready. It's going to be good stuff. It's going to be good stuff, good content, and great fun. And I hope to see you all over there. Until then, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you on the next one. Ciao for now.